Oh, hey, come in, take a seat next to the fire, and welcome to Fireside Chats, where we explore the strange and mysterious bits of the world that we live in. Now, these aren't full episodes like the normal Three Little Pigs podcast ones, but it's something to listen to in between the long ones, a little aperitif before the main meal, so to speak. So with that in mind, sit back and enjoy. Today, we'll be diving into the legend of Spring-Heeled Jack, a creature that terrorised the streets of Victorian England and became one of the world's first urban legends. To start off, let's take a look at what we know about Spring-Heeled Jack. The first sightings of the strange creature occurred in 1837 in London, England. According to witnesses, Jack was a tall, thin figure, wearing a black cloak and a helmet with horns. His most notable feature was his ability to leap great distances, sometimes over 30 feet, or 9.14 metres for those of you playing metric system bingo at home. In 1838, the Times newspaper published an article about the attacks attributed to Spring-Heeled Jack, stating that some goblin or devil in the shape of a man has, for some time past, been perpetrating the most unheard of and mysterious outrages in the vicinity of London. This article shows how the legend of Spring-Heeled Jack was already taking hold in the public consciousness. There are many theories about who or what Spring-Heeled Jack was. Some believe he was a supernatural being, whilst others think he was a human with advanced technology, such as spring-heeled loaded boots. But regardless of his origin, Spring-Heeled Jack quickly became a notorious figure, with reports of his attacks on women and his terrifying ability to jump over buildings, a sort of touchy-feely Superman, if you will. Because, fun fact, remember the original Superman didn't fly, and he only had the ability to leap a building in a single bound. Coincidence? One of the most infamous incidents involving Spring-Heeled Jack occurred on the February 20th, 1838. When he attacked a young woman named Joan Alsop. According to Alsop, Jack approached her outside her home, and when she answered a door, he spewed blue flames into her face. He then fled the scene, leaping over a nearby wall. This incident was widely reported in the newspapers at the time. In a letter sent to the Lord Mayor in 1938 describing an attack by Spring-Heeled Jack, the author wrote, "He spoke with a breath more horrid than the chill midnight blast. His eyes, which inflamed as he spoke, shot forth two blue flames, and his mouth resembled that of a shark." Weird. This quote is particularly interesting because it gives us a physical description of Spring-Heeled Jack. The blue flames and a shark-like mouth are details that will become iconic in the legend of the creature. Just days after the Jane Alsop attack, another attack took place in a different part of London. Lucy Scales was walking with her sister when a shadowy man jumped out and also allegedly blew blue flames into her face, causing her to have some kind of seizure. While many of the initial reports of Jack's attacks took place in outlying hamlets and villages, both Alsop and Scales cases took place closer to the city and received a great deal more attention, stoking the fires of the Spring-Heeled Jack legend. Despite the decline in frequency of reports, sightings of Spring-Heeled Jack continued to emerge from across the country. These accounts, while less frequent and often from less credible sources than during the 1837 and 1838 waves of sightings, still struck fear into the hearts of those who heard them. Furthermore, there were instances where opportunistic individuals were caught attempting to capitalise on the legend by masquerading as the infamous figure. In 1877, Jack resurfaced at the Aldershot military base, where he wreaked havoc and instilled terror into the hearts of the sentry guards. This mischievous little devil seemed to revel in the chaos he created, and his antics leaving their lasting impression on those who witnessed them. Another article from this time, from the Illustrated Police News, described a sighting of Spring-Heeled Jack Suddenly there sprang up from the darkness a figure tall and gaunt. The figure seemed to take great leaps and bounds, and as it disappeared in the darkness, I heard the sound of the most hideous laughter I'd ever heard. This quote gives us a sense of fear and horror that people felt when encountering Spring Hill Jack. The hideous laughter is a particularly chilling detail. However, it was in Liverpool in 1904 that Jack made what is believed to be his final appearance. Witnesses reported seeing a tall, thin figure dressed in a black cloak and a helmet with horns protruding from the headpiece. He moved with supernatural agility, leaping up and down the street with ease before bounding onto the rooftops and vanishing without a trace. This final sighting left a lasting impression on those who saw it, cementing the legend of Spring Hill Jack as a truly eerie, enigmatic figure. Over the years, there have been many other reports of Spring Hill Jack, with some claiming he was seen as late as the 1980s. But as time went on, the legend of Spring Hill Jack became more and more fantastical. There were stories of him having the ability to shapeshift, and even accounts of being an alien. Remember, the original sightings of Spring Hill Jack happened 11 years prior to the infamous Jack the Ripper murders, so the streets were already filled with the fear of supernatural entities, both of which have never been solved. Remember, the original sightings of Spring Hill Jack happened 11 years prior to the infamous Jack the Ripper murders, so the streets were already filled with fear from supernatural entities, both of which have never been solved. And regardless of the true nature of Spring Hill Jack, his legend has endured for over a century. He's been the subject of countless books, movies and TV shows, and continues to fascinate and terrify people to this day. One possible explanation for the continued interest in Spring Hill Jack is the fact that his story taps into a deep-seated human fear. The idea of a mysterious, supernatural creature that can attack at any time is something that resonates with us all on a primal level. And with that, I'll leave the first episode of Fireside Chats, and I hope you enjoyed this look, albeit briefly, into the urban legend of Spring Hill Jack.